Welcome to The Holistic High Achiever. I'm your host, Caitlin Rohowitz. This podcast is proudly sponsored by A Better Body, my therapeutic massage studio here in Madison, where massage is so much more than just relaxation. At A Better Body, we believe in personalized, empowering care that supports your overall health and wellness. Because when you feel better, you do better. As a high achiever myself, I know how easy it is to push your own needs aside while chasing goals, building a business, or caring for others. That's why this podcast exists, for all of my fellow high achievers, my entrepreneurs, mompreneurs, and go-getters who want to thrive in a fast-paced modern world without sacrificing their health, burning themselves out, and continuing to put themselves on the back burner. Yes, we'll talk about health, nutrition, and movement, and easy solutions to living healthier, but we'll also cover topics like goal setting, building habits, and overcoming challenges and limiting beliefs, which can be applied to any area, including health, so that you can thrive holistically. So I have been listening to this incredible book called Unreasonable Hospitality by Will Guidara. I'm probably mispronouncing the last name, but the main purpose of the book advocates for going above and beyond expectations in hospitality to create memorable, personalized experience that foster genuine connections, not just transactions. And there's a chapter in the book, I think is called That Won't Work, which he basically goes on to say that if the reason you're not trying something is because, quote unquote, that won't work, it's a terrible reason to not do something. And so the chapter goes on to talk about building leaders in your organization, either by delegating and giving them ownership or leadership roles for certain projects or departments to ultimately help the bigger picture goal of creating better experiences and innovating. And sometimes it's not perfect or it doesn't get done the way you would do it because it's, not what you would do. But in the long run, it's still better for your business because you're building your team. You're creating an amazing work culture full of leaders who not only serve their customers at the highest standard levels, but the business starts to grow exponentially because you have people you can count on that are taking ownership and taking pride in their work. There's a ton more to it. That's not the point of this episode, but that's my brief, simplified version. If you want more, obviously go get his book. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because as a business owner, someone who runs a team, I already agree with a lot of those principles. He does present it in a new light. I believe that when you give someone an opportunity to lead, they often step into their potential and actually want to do better work. And so I'm going to give some of my own personal examples and stick with me also because I'm going to tie it back to health in a second. But I also believe, I learned this the hard way when I became a mom. I can't do everything myself. And so even though this is a theory or a concept that I've believed in for a long time, it does constantly evolve over time. So if you're listening to this as a business owner or a high achiever and you're like, yeah, I already do that, keep listening because things have probably changed since last time you brought some attention to it. So I think it's a very, very common trait as high achievers to always add things to their plate, always saying yes to more than they should, having great ideas and piling it on and overcommitting. And also at the same time, wanting things done in a certain way and not willing to budge because of their own perfectionism or need for control. And in the long run, that's not good for the business because it's consuming all of your time. It's overwhelming you and you don't have time and space to focus on more bigger picture things, more revenue generating things, more growth things. So the more you can delegate or automate to get things off of your plate as a business owner, even if it doesn't get exactly done as you would do it, or it takes a while to get it right or train someone, it is always better in the long run because it opens you up for more opportunities to work on those big picture things and growing the business, or maybe even just taking a day off or going on vacation. So start thinking of the things business-wise or health-wise when I start to wrap it in, like what are you doing that as the leader, the manager in your business, or even just the leader of your household, that you're like, yeah, I probably shouldn't be doing that. I probably shouldn't be spending my own time doing that. I should delegate that. So I bring this up because I know so many entrepreneurs who literally just haven't taken a vacation like 5 years because they're genuinely worried that if they leave, things will fall apart. That tells me that too much of their business depends on them, and they're probably not delegating. Prior to having kids, my husband and I took month-long vacations almost every year. We explored the world. We went to Italy and Greece, Bali and Thailand, Australia and Fiji. We did several snowbird trips where we just spent a month in Arizona for many years in a row. And I don't say that to brag. I say that because I intentionally designed my business in a way that would allow me to do that. I hire great people in the first place or outside companies to automate things. I invest in automation software. And I train and build up leaders who are self-starters, who are confident, and who are self-sufficient. And I continue to delegate as much as possible. That doesn't mean I'm perfect. That's, again, just even me thinking of this, there were some things I was like, oh yeah, I should probably be delegating that. We have at A Better Body, we have a continuing education program that I've wanted to build and do more of, but it always gets put on the back burner because it's not a huge priority. And I'm like, why don't I have my lead therapist take this over, or someone else if my lead therapist doesn't want to do it, right? So there's constantly things that you reimagine. And as time goes by, there's more things you can delegate. And the cool part about it is they might not do it exactly the way you would, but they also have a different brain than you. And sometimes they actually do it better. And maybe that's what scares you. I don't know. But I want to give you just some other examples in my business of things that I have delegated for a long time. The first one is payroll. I don't think anyone should be doing their own payroll unless you're a solopreneur. But we use a software that does most of it without paying a fortune. And then I have a virtual assistant that helps process the actual payroll and verify accuracy and things, and then track paid time off and all that good stuff. We also delegate or outsource reception services. So if you have been to A Better Body, you know that we don't have a receptionist that sits up front all day. That is intentional because first and foremost, we want all of our providers, our massage therapists, to check in and out all of their own clients for a more personalized experience. Additionally, we do hire a third-party company that does take a training. I don't have to train them. I trained one person once, and then they take care of training that answers our phones to just take general inquiries, rebookings, reschedulings. It's even sell e-gift cards and things like that. We also invest in software systems that allow us to automate certain things, such as online booking, so that customers can easily schedule and manage their own appointments, as well as purchase gift cards and things like that. And as things grow and change, like I said before, so will the amount of things and ways that you need to delegate. But if you own a business or manage people in any way, this is probably not a new concept for you. I bet I'm maybe stirring up some ideas, even if I haven't specifically mentioned them, just by getting your gears turning and thinking about things. So you probably already stand that delegating is not a luxury, but a necessity for the sake of your own sanity, but as well as for the future of your business and organization depending on it. Even if you're a solopreneur and you're not managing staff yet, automating things, delegating, outsourcing is going to be key for long-term growth. This whole concept of perfecting delegation and doing it as often as possible got me thinking, what if we did that for our health? How much more success would we have? How much easier would it feel to follow through if you could delegate some things when it comes to your health, your self-care, your well-being? Now, just as in business, there are going to be things that you either can't or just plain out should not delegate. There are things in my business that I intentionally keep myself. Right now, we're still small enough that I'm I want to personally do all of the hiring. That's not something, maybe in the future, if we get bigger, that would be something I outsource, but that's one example in business. The same goes for health. Unfortunately, it does not have the same effect if you ask someone else to work out for you. It's just, they'll have a grand old time. They can't get a massage for you. That would be nice. And genuinely, if you figure out a way to do that, you probably have $1 billion business idea, and I suggest you contact me to partner on that idea. There are, however, many things you can delegate, automate, and lighten the load. So I want to give you some ideas that I either personally do or have come up with clients. And there's, I guess, 3 different categories: food, fitness, and then just life, other. So with food, this is a big one because eating healthy can feel like a big undertaking if your entire life demands on efficiency and convenience. Or also if you just simply don't enjoy prioritizing cooking healthy, elaborate meals. And there's a lot of steps involved, right? Step 1, pick which meals or recipes you want to make. Step 2, make a list of ingredients and groceries needed. Step 3, find the time to go shop for said groceries. Step 4, prep and chop and do all the things with all the ingredients. Step 5, cook all of it before you turn up with something that may or may not work out. And I'm probably missing some, but my point is there's a lot of steps. So finding things to eliminate some or potentially even all of the steps by delegating, automating will help lighten the load. So a couple of suggestions that I came up with to list. The first one is having some go-to cookbooks and or keeping some of your favorite recipes in like one place. Like at home, I have a 3-ring binder that once I make a recipe and try it and I check the boxes like, okay, this one's a winner, it goes into that binder. This just reduces the amount of thinking and searching for recipe inspiration in the first place. Because I personally do like going on Pinterest, but I have many clients who tell me when they go on Pinterest, they're like, it's too overwhelming. There's too many ideas. And so when you can simplify the choices, it's kind of like if you've ever gone for ice cream, and this is a terrible example to give because I'm talking about health, but like if your choices are chocolate and vanilla, most of you knew as soon as I listed the 2 flavors which one you would choose. But if I give you chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, peanut butter chocolate chip, Oreo, sherbet, Blue Moon, and start listing like 30 different flavors, now all of a sudden you're like, which one do I want? And so the more you can actually just simplify the choices in the first place, but still make them both are good choices, the easier. So the next one is ordering groceries online, whether you do pickup or delivery. Obviously, delivery is another layer of convenience, but simply just ordering them online cuts down on the time spent in the actual store and potentially also the drive time too. Not to mention, you're probably going to save money on impulse buying. Another one is meal delivery services, things like Blue Apron, HelloFresh, and Sunbasket, where they send you the meals and all the ingredients you need in them. So you have everything you need in one place. You didn't have to think about the recipes. You didn't have to think about the ingredients and buying how much you need, making a grocery list, anything like that. It's just all there for you. You do still have to chop and cook it. So the next best thing is something that I've talked about a lot, and I'll obviously put the link in the description again, but pre-cooked meals like Factor meals. Factor is the brand. These are done for you meals. They are already cooked and delicious and healthy, and you just pop them in the microwave or heat them up the way you want to and eat them. So there's other brands out there. I have a client who uses Hungry Root, and they're kind of a combo. They have the done for you meals, but then they also have like grocery stuff. So either one of those are great choices, and I'm sure there's other great ones out there as well. In the fitness category, like I said in the beginning, you can't have people work out for you. It just doesn't have the same effect. But there are still some things you can do to lighten the load a little bit. Things like hiring a personal trainer or going to group fitness classes can eliminate that need to think up or plan workouts. And just additionally, when you have an appointment, it's set and you don't have to think about it. Like, if you go to every Wednesday, I go to the 8:30 a.m. Orange Theory class. It's just in my calendar. It's on repeat. So kind of building habits and automating that. But then also once I show up, I'm not thinking about like, what should I do for my workout today? And a lot of times at places like big gyms or Anytime, Planet Fitness, Princeton Club, when you show up and it's just open gym, you still have to like think about, what should I do? And there are days that you might not push yourself as hard because you're like simultaneously working out while trying to think of a workout. So using something that helps pick the workout for you so that that part at least is done for you. And then in my category of like life and other, a big thing that I'm going to relate back to postpartum is ask for help. A lot of high achievers, and especially moms, have me included, have such a hard time asking for help. But I want you to pause for a second. If you think of a friend or someone you really care about, and they're going through a hard time, maybe they just had their first newborn and you've gone through that experience and you know how it feels. If you think about helping them, if you think about like bringing them a meal or doing their laundry, how does that make you feel to think about doing something nice for them? Probably good. When I ask clients this question, a lot of times it's like, I feel great about doing that. Your friends feel that way about you. So asking them to help you with things will feel good for you in the long run once you be okay with accepting the help, but it also feels good for them. And there are people in your life that I guarantee, whether it's your parents, your siblings, or just really good friends, that want to help. So if you're just going through a hard phase, maybe just asking for help. But also, like, a cool help idea that I've heard of a couple of people doing recently, like in the same neighborhood, is like taking turns cooking big meals. So like these two families, one night they'll cook and they'll make like a big, I don't know, chili or something, and it'll feed both families. And then the next night, the other family will cook, and then they kind of rotate back and forth. And I don't know the schedule, how often they do it, but I'm like, that's kind of a cool idea. It helps share the load, lighten the load. Another one is signing up for subscriptions. Hear me out. I think a lot of us are like burnt out with everything's a subscription now. You go to sign up for something and you're like, why did I just get this redelivered? You don't even realize you signed up for a subscription. However, they do have their value. If it's something you genuinely want and you end up repeat buying anyways, like I've talked about my fizz sticks before from Arbonne. It was so annoying every time I had to I would run out and I was like, oh, I thought I had one more box left and I was completely out. And now I'm just on an auto subscription for it. And I said you can personalize it so it's not necessarily every single month, so that you make sure you use up what you have before you get more. Those are the kind of subscriptions I think are a little more ethical. But the nice part about it is it takes the thought out, one less step of not having to reorder for the things you are going to do that you do want to order. So whether it's protein shakes or vitamins, or even things like massages, facials, nails, if you can get, like, shameless plug for A Better Body, but we have a membership, and that's kind of the entire point, is that when you're on auto pay, it kind of like forces you to remember to take care of yourself. So, and then also you still have to schedule. So scheduling those things on whatever cadence you want to be. So you can literally just get in a rotation where you're like, okay, how about I do Monday at 11 a.m. every 2 weeks, every 4 weeks, every 6 weeks. I don't care what it is, but it's like so that it's auto recurring. If you got it like that, go twice a week. But the point here is that as much as you can put on subscriptions or autopilot, that's using technology and things as to your advantage. And that kind of goes hand in hand with my episode on like forming habits. The more you can make it a habit and routine, eventually it feels like autopilot. So the point here, the main takeaway, is just reduce as many barriers as possible and understand the importance of delegation. And if you are someone who's currently struggling with stuff, please ask for help. Thank you so much for being here with me on Holistic High Achiever. I hope today's episode left you feeling inspired and ready to take on the world one healthy step at a time. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, follow, subscribe, and leave a review. It helps so much. And if you're anything like me, you probably thought of someone else who would likely resonate with this, so don't forget to share this with them, because who can't use a little extra motivation? Until next time, friends, keep embracing your journey and kicking ass.